Hey everybody, welcome back to The Sauce with AnnMarie, the place where we talk about life, pop culture, and the shit everybody's thinking but maybe not saying out loud, and, whatever else happens to be in the sauce that day. I'm AnnMarie, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, welcome to the chaos. If you've been here before, you already know how we do things around here. Welcome back. Before we get into today's show, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're watching or listening. New episodes air every Wednesday and Sunday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And come hang out with me on TikTok and Instagram. Everything is at The Sauce with AnnMarie. We've got What's in the Sauce coming up. Bethenny Frankel has opened a cafe, and apparently we're fighting over bagels now. Shanna Moakler is still finding reasons to talk about Kourtney Kardashian almost 20 years after divorcing Travis Barker. Can we say grudge? And Kelly Osbourne has some choice words for Dee Snider. But after that, we're getting the hell out of 2026. Because today, friends, we are going back. I don't know what got into me this week, but I have been feeling really nostalgic. And not necessarily in an everything was better when we were kids kind of way, because everything was not better. I mean, we had Aquanet. However, we were actively destroying the ozone layer every morning before school, but our hair could touch heaven. We survived lead paint, secondhand smoke, lawn darts, and station wagons where seatbelts, or even seats for that matter, for children were practically optional. So listen, I'm not trying to rewrite history here, but let's be honest. Some shit was just more fun. Life felt different. Things felt like events, You waited for things. You looked forward to things. They felt a lot more special. You didn't have access to every person, every song, every television show, every piece of information that has ever existed within 3 seconds. Sometimes you didn't know something. And you know what? That was acceptable. If you didn't know it, it was fine. There was nobody at dinner pulling out a phone going, actually, let me Google that. No. Uncle Tony said Frank Sinatra was born in 1932. Dad said it was 1915. They argued about it for about, 20 minutes. Nobody knew who was right. Then, once the coffee and the pastries came out, nobody cared anymore. And that's how the evening ended. So today, I just want to hang out. We're going to go back for a little while. No heavy shit. No big life lesson learned. This is not a special episode. We're going to just remember some things that I completely forgot I remembered. And I have a feeling I'm going to unlock some shit in your brain today too. So get comfortable, hop into the DeLorean, friends, because we're going back. But first, we need to see what the hell is happening in 2026. It's time for What's in the Sauce. All right. So before we climb into our Gen X time machine today, we need to find out what's in the sauce. Because apparently everybody has lost their fucking minds again. What a surprise. I have a real housewife fighting with influencers over a cafe, an ex-wife who's apparently still fighting a divorce from 2008, and Kelly Osbourne defending her dad. So let's get into it. All right, first up, Bethenny Frankel has opened a pop-up in the Hamptons called Supermodel Café. And yes, Supermodel Café. We'll come back to that. The cafe opened in East Hampton, and the menu is basically bagels with different flavored cream cheeses and spreads, a handful of sandwiches, chicken salad, coffee, matcha, that kind of thing. Now, first of all, Bethenny. Supermodels don't eat. Everybody fucking knows that. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the food is so underwhelming that it's actually on brand. I don't know. I mean, I remember the supermodel diet back in the 90s was Marlboro's, black coffee, and Diet Coke. So maybe that should have just been the menu. But I mean, what do I know? I'm fat. You are a natural food chef. You have innovated food and drink and were truly a visionary and, in my opinion, ahead of your time. You turned Skinny Girl into an iconic brand. Side note, I was a huge fan of Bethenny back in the day on The Real Housewives. I loved her tenacity and her spirit. When Skinny Girl Margarita first launched, I looked everywhere till I finally found a little liquor store in Fort Lauderdale that had it. I'm not even a big drinker. I don't drink at all anymore, but back then I wasn't even a big drinker. And honestly, it was so acidic to me. I got agita when I drank it. So it was a one and done, but I loved her and I wanted to support her brand. Also, the Skinny Girl salad dressings are top tier. They're not very expensive. They don't look like much. They're very watery, but flavor, chef's kiss. Especially this time of year, I would recommend the raspberry vinaigrette and the poppy seed. Not sponsored, but you know what? Skinny Girl, love you. You're amazing. You made this shit sound like you reinvented food. Like nobody had ever looked at a bagel before and thought, you know what this means? Cream cheese. I mean, groundbreaking, mind blown. And sometimes food is just fine. But, if you're going to open something with a celebrity name attached to it in the Hamptons and call this thing Supermodel Café, I'm sorry, people are going to have expectations. And you created the hype. That's what I don't understand. This could have been so easy. Honestly, maybe you should have made another Skinny Girl line or just put it out to market. The Skinny Girl spreads, Skinny Girl chicken salad, Skinny Girl whatever the fuck the bagel cream cheese concoction is. Put it in the grocery stores or, do whatever. Sell it online. Get your money. Call it a day. And, leave everybody the fuck alone. Thank you. Shanna Moakler is still coming for Kourtney Kardashian. So apparently Shanna Moakler and Kourtney Kardashian are still doing this. And by this, I mean participating in a feud involving Travis Barker that has now lasted longer than some actual marriages, including theirs. Shanna, of course, is Travis Barker's ex-wife. They were married from 2004 to 2008 and have two children together, Landon and Alabama. Travis married Kourtney Kardashian in 2022. So everybody has moved on, allegedly. Because Shanna recently left a shady comment questioning where Kourtney's children were while Kourtney was attending a premiere for Travis's documentary. Then the comment was later deleted. Really? Now Shanna's teasing that she's going to tell even more about this whole situation in her upcoming memoir, Queen Risen. Oh God, get out of here. According to Shanna, there's a lot about the blended family situation and her relationship with Travis and Kourtney that the public doesn't know. I'm sure it's not even that juicy. But you know what? Listen, maybe there is. And I'm sure there are three sides to this story. There's Shanna's, there's Travis and Kourtney's, and then whatever the fuck actually happened. But, I mean, girl, you and Travis divorced in 2008. We've had 4 presidents. TikTok was invented. The Kardashians went through approximately 700 relationships. We've had a pandemic. Pluto isn't even a planet anymore. At what point do we release this? Because I understand having feelings about how another woman interacts with your children. I mean, that I get. And if there are legitimate issues involving your kids, that's different. But the constant public digs at Kourtney, eventually it starts looking less like I'm protecting my family and more like I still need everybody to know that I was here first. Girl, we know. All right? You were Mrs. Travis Barker. We know. There was a television show. I was a huge fan. We all saw it. And I also don't understand leaving shady comments and then deleting them. If you're going to say it with your whole chest. Don't throw the grenade into Instagram and then come back 10 minutes later like, who put that there? You did. And now we've got a memoir coming. Oh, God. Of course we do. Because apparently no celebrity disagreement can officially die anymore until somebody gets a publishing deal. You know, and I will probably read the fucking excerpts. I am part of the problem, but here's what I want to know. How long is too long to still be publicly fighting with your ex's new spouse? Because we're coming up on 20 years since this divorce. I mean, at some point, I feel like everybody involved deserves parole. Right? And finally, we have Kelly Osbourne and Dee Snider. And apparently, Dee Snider has learned an important lesson. You can have an opinion about somebody's father, but their daughter can also tell you to go fuck yourself. Dee Snider, obviously, Twisted Sister frontman, we're not going to take it, big hair, entire Gen X package, recently made comments about the late Ozzy Osbourne. Snider was discussing Ozzy's legacy and essentially argued that Ozzy's later career wasn't what people now make it out to be. He also criticized the way Ozzy's final years and performances have been discussed since his death. And Kelly Osbourne did not appreciate the review. Kelly responded publicly and absolutely went after Dee, calling him irrelevant and making it very clear that she thought his comments about her father were disrespectful. Now here's where I land. You don't have to suddenly pretend somebody was perfect because they died. That's ridiculous. Ozzy Osbourne was a complicated human being. You know, he had addiction issues. He made mistakes. He lived a very public life. And people are allowed to discuss his career honestly. But can we also have a little fucking decorum? This man's family is grieving. His daughter just lost her father. Do we need your definitive assessment of his legacy right now? Like, sometimes having an opinion doesn't mean the opinion needs to immediately leave your mouth. That's something we've completely forgotten. You can think something and then just keep thinking it. It's free. And Kelly coming for him? Of course she did. That's her dad. I don't care if I'm 15, 55, or 85. If you start publicly talking shit about my father after he dies, we're probably going to have a problem. And that's not even celebrity behavior. That's daughter behavior. And also, Dee, sir, I respect Twisted Sister. I absolutely do. But if we're going to start measuring musical legacies, are we really putting Twisted Sister and Ozzy fucking Osbourne on opposite ends of the scale? Because I don't know if you want that smoke. Ozzy had Black Sabbath, then the solo career, decades of music, Ozfest, reality television. He became an entire cultural figure. My mother knew who Ozzy Osbourne was. And I can assure you she was not listening to Crazy Train when she vacuumed on Sunday morning. That's reach. So maybe Kelly went hard. Maybe calling Dee irrelevant wasn't necessary. But grief isn't particularly known for making people measured and diplomatic. But truly, neither are the Osbournes, and that's why we love them. And sometimes, when somebody loses somebody they love, maybe we give them a little fucking grace. You don't have to like Ozzy. You don't have to pretend everything he ever did was brilliant. And you don't even have to agree with Kelly. But perhaps, oh, I don't know, read the room. And that, friends, is what is in the sauce. All right. So, yep, there you have it, friends. Bethenny's fighting over bagels. Shanna's still fighting a divorce from 2008. Kelly Osbourne is defending Ozzy's honor. I think I have had enough of 2026 for one day. Get in the DeLorean, friends. We're going back. Ugh. Do you remember how exciting it was when something you liked was going to be on television? Not even something new, a movie, like a movie you've already seen. Because if The Wizard of Oz was coming on Sunday night, we were watching The Wizard of Oz Sunday night. There was no, I'll watch it tomorrow. No, you won't. It's on now. And everybody watched the same shit. That's another thing I miss. You went to school or work the next day and everybody knew what happened. Season finales, forget it. Those were events. You couldn't hide from spoilers for 3 months while you got around to watching something, or, hiding from the last few episodes of something like I do. You had until approximately 9:03 the next morning, and after that, that's on you. And the TV guide. Do you remember the TV guide? The tiny little book was basically our roadmap to entertainment for the next week of our lives. I read that thing like it was the gospel according to Matthew. And I wanted to know what episodes of my shows were new, which ones were repeats, if there were special guests, who's going to be on the Love Boat. I needed to know. These were important questions. I needed to get my answers. And that book held all the answers. So, it was like our on screen guide, except you couldn't click anything. Loved the TV guide. And the crossword puzzle in the back used to be a lot of fun too. Do you remember the TV guide crossword puzzle? That was fun. Blockbuster Video. Oh, the video store. Going to rent a movie was practically the entire Friday night activity, right? You didn't just watch the movie. You had to go get the movie. And not to like a red box or whatever. Like you went the legitimate store. You walked up and down aisles. You're looking at all the boxes. You're reading. You're debating. Somebody would suggest something from across the store. No, that looks stupid. 20 minutes later, you're still walking around Blockbuster. Then you finally agree on something. And every copy's gone. That little empty plastic thing behind the display. Devastating. And somehow, we would just pick another movie. No, we didn't immediately go online and write 0 stars, Blockbuster ruined my weekend. We adapted. Imagine. God help you if you forgot to return it. Those late fees could apparently destroy a family financially. That's true. They would rack up really fast. And God forbid you didn't rewind it. Oh my God. Be kind, rewind. Kids today will never understand the athleticism involved in trying to record a song on the radio. You hear those first 3 notes. Go! Hurry up, running across the room. You're hurtling over the dog. You hit record. Don't talk. You're looking around the room. Nobody fucking say a word. You're making a tape. And then the DJ starts talking over the ending. Fucker. Whole thing's ruined now. And then you'd wait another 3 hours hoping that they'd play it again. You'd have everything queued up, ready to go. This is how much we wanted one song. These are the lengths we went through. But now I can say the name of practically any song ever recorded into my phone and hear it immediately, which is amazing. Side note, on our last cruise ever, a long story for another day, Hubs and I actually won a throwback music trivia contest. It was a very proud moment for us as a family. But, there's something about waiting for your favorite song to come on the radio and then hearing those first few notes that hit different. You would turn that shit up. I love that. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. I'm still stuck listening to the same playlists from music from like the 90s. I don't even remember the last time I've listened to anything recent either. Comment and let me know what's good as far as new music. Anybody that I should listen to, let me know. Give me some suggestions. Maybe I'll try something new. But before I try anything new, I want to talk about something that is very nostalgic and old and wonderful. Can we talk about the mall? Can we please talk about the mall? The mall was not where you went because you needed something. No, the mall was the activity. That was Saturday afternoon, right? What are you doing? Going to the mall. For what? Nothing. We're going to walk around for about 4 hours, maybe, get a soda, maybe go to Spencer's, look at shit we shouldn't even be looking at. Maybe somebody's going to get their ears pierced at Piercing Pagoda, or maybe we'll go into Sam Goody and look at CDs and cassette singles. Remember cassette singles? Maybe we'll run into somebody we know. That was the plan, existing publicly. And somehow we could spend an entire Saturday doing it. We actually lived for it. Also, when I was young, a couple of times we trick-or-treated in the mall. That was delightful. So much fun. Pictures used to be a mystery. Taking pictures used to require faith and patience. 24 shots. That's it. Maybe 36 if your family was doing well financially that week, or if it was for, a special occasion. And you couldn't look at them. So if you went on vacation, or it was your birthday, or anything, whatever, you took the pictures. Okay, took the pictures, you came home, you dropped the film off, and you waited. And if your mother mailed them off, you could have been waiting for weeks. And then you got that little envelope. And opening that little envelope was an event. You start going through them. Okay, good one. Good one. Oh, shit, why are my eyes closed? Where the fuck took this one? Half of Dad's head is missing. Oh, there's somebody's thumb. Why did we take 7 pictures of the ocean? That was it. Those are your memories. There was no retaking it 37 times because your chin looked weird. No filters or Facetune. That's it. If you look like shit, congratulations. That's Christmas 1987, forever. And then technology blessed us with the answering machine, which gave birth to one of my favorite human behaviors: screening calls. Phone rings, everybody looks at each other. Don't answer it, don't answer it. The machine picks it up. Your voice starts playing. Everybody remains completely silent. And then, hello, AnnMarie, I know you're home. You hold your breath like they could somehow hear you existing through the answering machine. That's where ghosting started. I don't care what anybody says. We invented that shit. We just needed the hardware. Attention. I need anybody under 35 to understand something, if you happen to be listening. There was a time when a giant book arriving at your house was basically the equivalent of Amazon. And these books had names, serious names. The Sears catalog, J.C. Penney, Finger Hut, Toys R Us. And around Christmas time, that Christmas catalog came in. Pass me a pen. We're circling shit. Oh yeah, I want this and this. I'll take this and maybe this. I didn't know what any of it cost. I didn't care. That was Mom's problem. I mean, Santa. Side note, I milked the Santa shit for a hot minute. True confession. I refused to admit that I knew. I was not going to subject myself to a 20% reduction of gifts. Are you kidding me? Come on. So, anyway, this catalog was moment over. This catalog was intense. I mean, you'd flip through those toy pages over and over, and by Christmas, that thing looked like it had served wars in Vietnam. Speaking of things arriving in the mail, can somebody explain Columbia House to me? Because I still don't understand what happened. 12 CDs or cassette tapes for a penny. You would tape it onto the thing. A penny. They don't even make pennies anymore. 12 CDs or cassette tapes for a penny. And apparently, all we had to do was agree to some future contractual obligation that nobody in America ever fully understood and that Columbia House never really enforced. Did anybody ever go to jail for not paying for their Columbia? First of all, I have questions. First of all, all right. Every Gen X household eventually had a Columbia House problem. So now I have questions. Did anybody really pay for those 12 CDs or cassette tapes? Or did we just kind of forget about it? And they would send, the reminder notices that we owed the things. I mean, who was coming to pick up? Really? They were going to come and confiscate them? And what were they going to do to you, really? And then all of a sudden they just disappeared. So I guess that answered that. Oh my God. I don't know how they made money. Well, I guess they didn't. I mean, I don't know. They might still be out there looking for some of us, allegedly. I don't know. That was amazing, though. But, friends, I don't want to go back. I get, nostalgic and I, talk about these things and I love talking about them and I'm sure I'll talk about them many more times. But, let's be very clear. I like GPS. I need it. I like having every song ever recorded in my pocket. I especially like ordering something at 10:30 at night and having it appear on my porch tomorrow, like witchcraft. I have no desire to unfold a Rand McNally map on the side of I-95 ever. I don't even want to print off MapQuest directions. No. Technology is amazing. But I think sometimes I miss anticipation. I don't know. I miss looking forward to something. Waiting for Friday night, waiting for your favorite show, waiting for somebody to call, waiting for that package, waiting to get your pictures back, waiting for the song so you can record it, waiting for the holidays. Everything wasn't so in your face and available all the time. So when you finally got the thing, it felt like something. Maybe that's what I'm nostalgic for. Not 1985. Not cassette tapes. Not Blockbuster. Just that feeling. When ordinary shit somehow felt special. So now I want to hear yours. What are some things from growing up that you completely forgot about until somebody mentioned it? And suddenly you're right back there. The smell, the sound, the place, something your family did, something you haven't thought about in 30 years. I want the weird ones too. Don't just give me Blockbuster. Unlock a memory for me. Because apparently that's what we're doing today. We're rummaging through the Gen X attic, and honestly, I could stay up here all day. So tell me yours in the comments. And If you had fun hanging out with me today, make sure you're following and subscribed to The Sauce with AnnMarie, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and come find me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm lonely over there. Everything is at The Sauce with AnnMarie. You know how we do this. Friends, life isn't perfect. None of us are even close to having it completely figured out. But we keep showing up, and that is where the good stuff is. That's The Sauce. Thanks for being here. See you Wednesday.